Hey everybody, it's Maddie here with AltCoin Buzz with you on this Saturday, and I hope your weekend is going very well. Today we're talking about Facebook and its GlobalCoin cryptocurrency that it's going to be launching by 2020. Another take on that. Speaking of 2020, the US presidential race is heating up, and you have certain candidates that are accepting donations in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. We'll let you know who those candidates are. Bitcoin and pizza. Yes, it's that time of year. We're going to take a historic retrospective to that day when two pizzas were bought with a whole boatload of Bitcoin. If you're not familiar with that story, it's some lore that you may want to brush up on if you consider yourself a member of the crypto community. We'll introduce you briefly to Flexacoin via our Community Speaks segment. And then there's this news about a Warner Brothers executive, Ryan Kavanaugh, who raised $100 million for a security token. But let's begin here with a brief snapshot of the market. As you can see, things are marginally up. The market is up 0.86%, so under 1%, at a total market cap of $253 billion. Things are, again, more or less flat, a little bit up, a little bit down, but there you have it. Bitcoin, at the time of this recording, sitting just over 8K at $8,056. We brought you some coverage of this the other day, but AltCoin Buzz News tweeting about this at AltCoin Buzz News. Facebook to launch its cryptocurrency dubbed GlobalCoin by 2020. To read more about it, check out the link here. That brings you to altcoinbuzz.io. Facebook to launch its cryptocurrency GlobalCoin by 2020. Article by Annie. Facebook has been working on its cryptocurrency project for quite some time. The project is codenamed Project Libra, and the coin is internally named GlobalCoin. Facebook has been moving fast, starting from recruitment, building partnerships, sorting out legal issues, to setting up offices. Looks like the final launch is not far away. So according to Annie, as per a recent BBC article, Facebook is planning to launch GlobalCoin by the first quarter of 2020. Initially, it will be set up in a dozen countries. Internal testing of the currency will start by the end of this year. Further plans will be released by Facebook in the coming days. We talked about this just yesterday. No matter what Facebook does, they have an internal built-in audience of billions between Facebook, between WhatsApp, and between Instagram. Those are all Mark Zuckerberg-owned properties, intellectual properties. And it is reported by the BBC that Facebook is raising as much as $1 billion to fund Project Libra. It aims at paying users through micropayments for activities such as viewing ads and interacting with content related to online shopping or sharing content, etc. We talked about this yesterday, so I don't want to dwell too much on this topic, but founder Mark Zuckerberg met Bank of England Governor Mark Carney last month to discuss the opportunities and risks involved in launching a cryptocurrency. So from banning all cryptocurrency ads to straight up launching your own crypto. Very shrewd, Mr. Zuckerberg. Check out the rest of Annie's article for all the other details pertaining to this story, as well as the BBC.com article here from the 24th of May, just yesterday. Facebook plans to launch GlobalCoin currency in 2020. Speaking of 2020, for our American viewership, there is a big presidential election coming up. And here, article by Chris on altcoinbuzz.io. 2020 Democratic candidate Eric Swalwell to accept cryptocurrencies as donations. Pretty progressive. 2020 Democratic candidate Eric Swalwell has announced he will accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and 3 other coins as donations for his campaign. Now, I love American politics personally. I'm not going to be too opinionated in this piece here, but I do like to see that this type of initiative is being taken. Eric Swalwell is not exactly at the top of the pack. He's not polling very well, at least the last time I checked. But nevertheless, from my crypto perspective, this is positive news, so pretty good. Representative Eric Swalwell has become the second Democratic 2020 presidential candidate to accept donations in cryptocurrency, the first being Andrew Yang, who's that sort of left-leaning libertarian. He's talking a lot about the universal basic income as a major pillar of his platform. But Representative Eric Swalwell will now be accepting coins such as Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Stellar Lumens, Bitcoin, Satoshi's Vision, and the White Standard, the White company's own cryptocurrency. And here's a quote by Mr. Swalwell, quote, "Blockchain can change the world if we let it. Is there a risk? Sure. That's why we must test, retest, and constantly monitor such systems for interference or abuse by using expert oversight. Government has to keep up with the times, and the times have changed. We must study but ultimately embrace these new frontiers. Again, that's a quote by Representative Eric Swalwell. Swalwell also recently signed a letter addressed to the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, asking for additional guidance regarding tax consequences and reporting requirements for cryptocurrency investors. Quote, there are many other open questions about the federal taxation of virtual currencies, but we feel that there is particular urgency in resolving the ambiguity around basic questions of how taxpayers should calculate and track the basis of their virtual currency holdings. It is not unreasonable to expect taxpayers to satisfactorily answer these complex questions while the IRS remains silent, end quote. Again, that's courtesy of a letter sent to the IRS signed by Representative Swalwell. I'm not going to let you guys know whether or not I agree with him on his full range of issues on his platform, but at the level of, his sentiments expressed in that letter, I can get on board with that. So kudos to Eric Swalwell for making the leap and, perhaps sticking his neck out a little bit and getting behind the cryptocurrency donation bandwagon. I think it sets a precedent, and let's see what happens in the future with other candidates. Here on AltCoinBuzz.io, buying pizza with my Bitcoin, then and now, article by Annie. The purchase of 2 Papa John's pizzas is considered as the first documented tangible item purchased with Bitcoin. The transaction was done through internet relay chat. Since then, we have come a long way. Introduction of new technologies like the Lightning Network has made things even easier. So on the 22nd of May, we just celebrated the 9th anniversary of the first Bitcoin pizza purchase, often considered as the first documented purchase of any tangible good or service using Bitcoin. The transaction demonstrated the value of Bitcoin and showed its immense potential as a currency of trade, paving the way towards the wide popularity of Bitcoin. And as some of you may know, and as others perhaps don't, the 22nd of May is celebrated as Bitcoin Pizza Day. So for those of you that may not be aware, 9 years ago on the 22nd of May, 2 Papa John's pizzas were purchased for 10,000 Bitcoins, then accounting for only $41. If you fast forward to today, as you can see by this tweet, it's evidence the Bitcoin pizza is now worth $73,269,000. And that's down 5% from yesterday when this was tweeted on the 17th of May. So we're talking about an exchange, if you fast forward a few years, nearly a decade, that really totals in the tens of millions of dollars. At one point, the Bitcoin pizza transaction, of course, was north of $100 million in value. So it just goes to show the difference that a few years can make. Certainly 10,000 Bitcoin is worth a lot more than it used to be. Check out the rest of Annie's article in full if you're not familiar with Bitcoin Pizza Day. We're now a few days past Bitcoin Pizza Day, but here are some pictures of the infamous pizza that was purchased. Hindsight is always 20/20 in this life. That's what makes things interesting and flavorful and fun. Let us know what you guys think about this in the comments below. And now, very briefly, we're looking at this Community Speaks update with an introduction to Flexacoin. So Flexa and Spend, I think that's how you pronounce it, SPEDN, are looking to bring cryptocurrency payments to the masses. So at Consensus 2019 this year, Flexacoin made its international debut during the official release of the SPEDN app, and it does what we've all been waiting for. Brings mass adoption to reality. The Spend app that was built on the Flexa platform allows individuals to spend cryptocurrencies at the biggest retailers in the world. So Flexa HQ raised $14 million, and their first application, SPEDN, is entirely revolutionary. Flexacoin and the Spend app allows users to spend cryptocurrencies at some of the biggest retailers in the world. Users can spend Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the Gemini dollar. The app will show a barcode that can be scanned by the cashier. According to the CEO, the network has no volatility and is powered by the Gemini exchange. The coins are sold in the Gemini exchange and the merchants receive the payments in dollars. So what are some of the stores you'll be able to spend at? Well, the list is growing, but currently includes Best Buy, Bed Bath & Beyond, Starbucks, Petco, Barnes & Noble, Lowe's, Office Depot, Ulta Beauty, GameStop, Nordstrom, Regal, Crate & Barrel, Jamba Juice, and Caribou Coffee. Congratulations to these recent developments with the Flexacoin team and the Spend app. For all the rest of the information, if you're interested in learning more, check out this article in full. And we thank our contributor for this Community Speaks piece. Not financial advice, of course, but a good perspective that we would not otherwise be exposed to. In closing here, Flexacoin has a bright future ahead of it. It has taken cryptocurrencies more mainstream and makes them easier to adopt for the masses. They have advisors from Walmart, Nike, and other big name companies. Check out the rest of this article for more information and let us know what you think about it in the comments below. And finally today, everybody, Warner Brothers executive Ryan Kavanaugh raised $100 million for a security token. I've not heard about this myself. Article by Rommel. Hollywood's Ryan Kavanaugh from Warner Brothers just raised $100 million for Proxycoin and will allow investors to own fractional parts of movies. Tokenomics strikes again. Hollywood's Ryan Kavanaugh from Warner Brothers just raised $100 million for security token focused on media projects. Ryan Kavanaugh owns a studio called Proxima Media, and he recently raised $100 million for a security token. The token will allow investors to invest in studio quality films and television shows. According to PR Newswire, Ryan received $100 million from the Central Wealth Investment Fund of Hong Kong and Step Ventures. The security token will be called Proxycoin, and it's the first of its kind. Proxycoin is built on the Ethereum platform. Investors will be able to own fractional parts to digitized films and television shows. This was only available to elite executives and institutions in Hollywood and around the world. Aman Johar, principal at Proteum Capital, is an early investor and consultant to Proxycoin, and he had this to say, quote, "Blockchain technology is enabling new business models that unlock value in traditional industries like film financing. Global audiences can now participate as investors in tokenized offerings through a new asset class." Pretty good idea at the surface level. It depends on how it's going to be executed operationally. At least that's my opinion. But Ryan Kavanaugh here, as is described by Rommel, is a heavy hitter. He has helped produce movies that have garnered a combined $17 billion at the box office. He has produced many movies you must have heard of, such as The Social Network, Immortals, Fast and Furious, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Salt, Wanted, Limitless, that's probably my favorite on the list, and The Fighter, as well as many more. So check out the rest of this article for more information. Let's see how it goes. I'm not really putting my support behind this just yet, but again, depending on the logistics of it, depending on the mechanics and the operations, could be a good idea. Tokenomics, I think, are going to be the wave of the future, and this is just one other application of them by the sound of it. So with that being said, everybody, I think we're just about done with the news. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media and keep checking back into our website for news and updates. It is altcoinbuzz.io. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell to receive notifications. Have a great Saturday. Best of luck if you choose to invest, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army. But here's wishing you a great weekend. And of course, as always, we hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.